In this quick start video, we're going to explain two ways to access and use the NFR login area on our website. So we have multiple NFRs depending on which resellers are going to be using these services. So some of the files that you would see here may differ slightly depending upon your access credentials and what you're actually allowed to see. So when we say there's two different ways to work, it's basically you're looking at somebody, for example, a sales representative, and that sales rep wants to be able to print samples out, show them to the customer, and have a basic understanding about what ColorLogic is and how it works. On the other side of it, you then have these technical operators that want to actually know how to design with the tools and then how they can actually make their own files. So two different ways of working with the system. So first of all, let's concentrate on the sales representative that only wants to be able to print the files out. So it's really very simple. We've created the NFR login area with simple step-by-step guides. So all we ask you to do is to go through and follow each step. So if you're a sales representative, it's very important that you print out the color charts, or you can make them out as a swatch book. Templates are all provided. All you have to do is click to download the artwork. There is room on the artwork to put your own logos and your branding. We will not do that for you, because if you imagine how many people we work with around the world, from each reseller, each printer, each designer, and everything in between, from ink makers to substrate suppliers, we would never get any work done. So we've created the artwork from an agency. It's basically all done for you. All you have to do is put your logos on. So these are open source artwork files, so you can edit them. All we ask is you never remove the ColorLogic logos or branding. That's our intellectual property. So this will give you the information about what colours can be achieved with the system. These are the 250 colours in our system. If the colour's not on there, then it's not in our system, period. Next, we have the test forms. Now the test forms show you what you can create by using these colours, along with our colour palettes and our specialised plugins. So there's two different pages. Page 1, this one here on the top, shows you examples of designs using different effects. Those effects are identified on this page 2. So it'll tell you about our solid colours and some techniques, for example, dimensional effects, watermark effects, and gradations, just as some of the examples. So what these two do is it shows you these are the colours that you can print with, and by using those with the palettes and plugins, you can create all of these effects. And we've made all of our effects that are possible on these pages. So it's not a case of can you do this? This is what is possible, and this is what is printable. So those are the first two things that everybody should print off, no matter whether you're a sales rep or a printer. Next, step 2, print samples. There are different samples for different NFR companies. We try to make sure that the NFR resellers do not actually cross-contaminate with other resellers. So files that you print from your vault will be different to somebody else's. So you access your vault and you download your files, and again you can put your logos on wherever you see fit. You can also use these files to work out how we made the design, so you can open them up and interrogate them and see what we did and how we did it. So they're a learning tool as well. Now that's really the main thing, is print the forms and the color charts and print the samples. Now for the sales rep, you also need to go to this sales tool. So there's a clue in the name. Don't need to go to training unless you want to learn how to use Photoshop, Illustrator and InDesign. So let's just skip that and go to step 4. Sales tools. These are to assist you when you're going to your sales meetings, trade shows, exhibitions, etc. We've made a movie that says what ColorLogic is, why we created it, and why there is a need for it, and also quickly show you how the palettes and the plugins work, as well as our FX viewer and some samples to show you what you can do with the tool. So we've done all the work for you. Just download it and play it at your event. If you want, we have a PowerPoint presentation that's more in-depth and is slide-based, so you can add your own logos and your branding. And again, it really covers more in-depth about what ColorLogic is. Then we also have a white paper on white ink investment. What that is a documentation, 2-pager, that basically will show you and talk to you about the benefits of using white on your machines if you have a white. So if you're printing with a silver, then obviously this isn't applicable to you, but if your machine has a white, this is a great starting point to tell you how you can go out and pitch your printing with white and CMYK against engines that do not have a white. So a nice little thing to look through. Okay, we also have our manuals. These are technical documents, which is for the user manual for our whole system, and that is multilingual. So if you want to learn how to use the system, we have these PDFs here. These PDFs actually replicate into these training videos because we realized that people don't read our manuals. So we generated every single thing from our manual as a video tutorial in hope that people will watch the videos and learn how to use the system. We also have the user manual for the FX viewer, and again that's multilingual as well. Obviously if you're just a sales rep and you're not worried about designing, then you don't need to worry about these manuals. If you do wish to install our system, then you would go to the Installers tab. And in here for the NFR licensees you've got Mac or PC, so you click on it, it will then reveal the installers. If there is an installer that is not for the version of Adobe that we are showing below, then contact us and we can make one for you. So for example, if you want to install into Adobe CC, CC, the Creative Cloud, is an updated system by Adobe. We are now on CC 2017. So we removed some of the older ones to keep it more fresh and more current, but if you happen to stay on CC and you refuse to upgrade for whatever reason, even though it's free, then we can give you those files. So inside each one of these, let's just click on one here. So on these new ones for Adobe Creative Suite, this is very important. We have different installers for different parts of our system, and you must read this and learn about what our system is. So we break it down into components. We have the color palettes, and that relates to the swatch book. These are the colors that you design with. So there's an installer that will install those for you. When you're working in Photoshop, we have a specialized plugin called Image Effects that converts your images into metallics. So you need to download that and follow this instructions to install it. If you're on a Mac, you can use our FX Viewer software. This is a 3D application program that will show you the FX of your design on the screen. And we also have a new little modular bolt-on called Pattern Effects, which is a set of palettes that do specialized patterns. So one thing for each. So common FAQs that we get from support things are things like, I've run your installer but I can't see the Photoshop plugin, it's not loaded. And that's usually because they've not read further down and they've not installed this, and they didn't read the note that says, due to Adobe ceasing support of Extension Manager for CC, please install our Image Effects plugin using the dedicated installer for Adobe CC, see below. So everything is there should you need it. Okay, now talking about FAQs. FAQs, let's go here. If you click on that, this is the frequently asked questions from our system that we've compiled over the last 8 years. Now there's a category down the side, so you can scroll down, and if you have an issue, for example you want to know there's an issue with installation or the installers, click on it and it will then list all the known issues or any support questions that have come in the past about the FAQs, whether it's related to error messages or how to resolve certain issues. Again, let's just pick another one, FX Viewer. So if you have an issue with your FX Viewer, there are typical FAQs are all listed here. So please do check that first before contacting us, because due to time zone differences, it could be a couple of hours before we get back to you. And we'll only usually direct you to these FAQs anyway, because that's where most of the responses are stored. So that's the generalized way that the NFR Vault works. So just to recap, print the test forms and the color charts, print some samples, use the sales tools to show what our system is and how it works, and then if you want to, you can use the FX Viewer to show your customers the files. Now, if you're the technical person that wants to learn how to design, not just printing our samples, but actually really wants to get in depth on how you design and make your own designs to print out, then we do recommend you go to our training page. And as the name suggests, it's going to teach you how to use our system. So if you want to use Adobe Illustrator and you want to create a watermark, there's a video for that. If you want to use our dimensional effect inside Illustrator, there's a video that teaches you how to do it. So there's a video for everything. If you want to learn in Photoshop how to convert images, there's a video. You want to do watermarks in Photoshop, there's a video for that. So it's short little condensed videos that teach you each technique in our system in each application program. It could not be any simpler. Follow the videos and you will learn how to use the system and create some amazing designs. Now, we're quite often asked by people, Can I have a one-to-one webinar? Now you have to understand, as I said before, we work with hundreds of people and different companies all over the world, from resellers to substrate companies, etc. So doing a one-to-one session with one salesperson in one country is not cost effective for us. We cannot do that all the time. So we have made a pre-recorded webinar that you can watch at your convenience. And it will be exactly the same as what we would do with you on a one-to-one basis. So go in here and you've got a generic webinar which will teach you how our system works. There's also a video tutorial for our pattern effects. There's a show and tell kind of presentation about what samples you can produce. This one is a particular favourite with people in sales and marketing. This is it was an event held out in Dubai where we were asked to present at the Brand Packaging Forum. And basically explains how we present and what we would say in a meeting in front of anybody to talk about what is colour logic and how it works. But another one is this one here, what is colour logic? Really simple. It just talks to you and says, this is why we developed the system, this is what it's for, and this is how it works. So you should have everything you need to be able to confidently either just access our files and print them off, or to be able to present in front of your customer. And like I said, use our video tutorial so you don't even have to do anything. Play the video at an event and then let the customers ask the questions. And if you don't know the answers, come to us. Now there's another section on our videos called miscellaneous videos. So a couple of things here, for example, there's little tips and tricks. Only print white ink where you need it. Now this is quite critical because what you'll find is if you print a design with our system, it generates a silver separation, and if you print with a white, what happens at the rip is that silver separation is inverted and then printed with white on the press. So if you've got area that's coloured white on your screen, it's going to come out with white ink. So watch that video and it'll teach you some tips and tricks on only putting the white where it wants to, so you're going to save on your ink consumption. This video teaches you the benefits of using a white, and for customers that want to rasterize files, it's a very old-fashioned way of working but still applicable to certain machines. If you cannot do the invert on your press, you can rasterize it using a third-party application called Callus PDF Toolbox. So as one of our technology partners, they've got a great system for doing PDF checking, pre-flighting, but it will also allow you to rasterize a file. And by that it means it will take your 5-color file and it will render it to a TIFF file, a multi-channel TIFF, which then will allow you to be able to manually invert that in Photoshop. The only thing we recommend is if you do the rasterization, check what the resolution of your printer is. So if your resolution is 812 dpi, render your file to 812 dpi and it will come out perfect and crisp. Okay, so that is the NFR Vault area. So it's two different things. One if you're a sales rep and a sales rep wanting to just print and basically show the basics of the system, and then there's this training section to teach you how to really get to grips and design with our tools.